What is up, my beautiful people? Hope you're all having a terrific day. Exile451 here with yet another daily dose of Reddit Happy. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going back into r/AskReddit for some more funny stories to help you get through the work week. Now, with it being Halloween this week, I got a special one for you guys that I know is gonna make you laugh. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, so the question was, haunted house actors, what is the funniest thing you have seen while scaring people? And this first one from user Eddie Minion has a lot. Oh, a great number of things, as I've worked and ran haunts for nearly 20 years. Some of my favorite moments. 1. 4 gangster wannabe black guys, late teens or early 20s, acting all big and tough. We let them on through into the haunt. A minute later, when they hit Regan's room, we had a life-size doll of Regan from The Exorcist that would spin its head and then squirt water on you from its mouth. Full disclosure, I've never seen The Exorcist, so I'm only assuming I'm pronouncing that right. And we hear a bunch of 12-year-old girls screaming. I didn't think there were any girls in that group. There weren't. Oh, crap, come on, we're missing it. These 4 gangsta wannabes screamed like little girls the entire way through. And by the end, we're running out of there all back to back to back, spinning like a freaking top so nothing could sneak up behind them. 2. Little old lady had to be 80, dragging her 2 60-year-old sons by their hands into the haunt, telling them in the sweetest little old grandma voice you can imagine, "Now, boys, don't be pansies." She gets into the last room, which was dressed as a movie theater, where the entire screen would break open as a giant monster jumped out. She sat front row center. My friend literally got his phone out and dialed 911 and was waiting to hit send. Monster jumps out 2 inches from her nose, she shrieks and then just collapses. We all rush in. She turns and looks at us and starts laughing. We have movement! 3. I was dressed as Death. Big antique scythe and everything. This little boy, maybe 6 to 7 years old, got it in his head that I wanted to personally kill him. He's crying like a baby. I get yelled at to take my mask off. So, I take my mask off. Everybody turns around to look at him going, "See, he's not going to kill you." I, on the other hand, am furrowing my brow, nodding my head, and mouthing, "I'm going to kill you." He starts shrieking, "He's still going to kill me!" You're such a jerk. 4. Family of 5 pulls up to the haunt one year when me and a buddy are working the lines. Mom, dad, middle sister, younger brother all get out. Oldest daughter refuses to leave the SUV. Dad comes up to us, hands me the keys to the car, and says, "Go get her and bring her in." My friend and I look at each other, back at him. I stop and take my mask off. "Excuse me, I just want to make sure I heard this right. You are giving me the keys to your car and telling me that you want me to go drag your daughter out of your car, kicking and screaming?" "Yep." "Yes, sir." We both jog over there, she sees us coming and locks the door and looks all smug. I hold up the key fob and click unlock. Her eyes go wide as she hits the lock again. We do that a couple of times before I walk up and put the key physically in the hatchback lock. Auto lock won't function if the key is physically turning the lock to open it. We start crawling into the SUV over the back seats as she is scrambling, reverse crab walk over them, up between the bucket seats where she actually goes into full-blown hysterical paralysis and completely loses the ability to move or do anything. We decide that's enough and go give the keys back to Dad with, "I think we broke her." 5. Any of the boyfriend-girlfriend couples where the boyfriend starts yelling, take her," or literally throwing their girlfriends at us so they can get away. It has become our standard response to catch the girlfriend, make sure she's steady, and then yell after him, "Dude, you're not getting any tonight after that stunt." They suddenly look mad, and she usually starts yelling, "Heck no you aren't! You threw me at the monsters!" 6. Happened just a couple of weeks ago. I was taking the girlfriend down to Netherworld in Atlanta just because their haunt is one of the best in the country. We had gone through, had a great time, and were in the gift shop when this girl, maybe 11 or so, comes tearing in there. She had clearly been running away from one of the line worker monsters. I'm about 6'2", and without thinking, I run over and tell her, "It's okay, you don't need to be afraid of the monsters," and then dropped into my crazy psycho voice I use in my haunts. "It's the rest of us you should be scared of." Her eyes go wide as saucers because at this point, I'm looming over her. My girlfriend grabs me, pulls me away, and just goes, "Honey, we talked about this. You're not allowed to do that to the normies." Girl ran out faster than she had ran in, and even the gift shop employees were going, "That was awesome, good on ya." 7. One year, I'm doing the autopsy room. Body parts everywhere, a basket of intestines hanging from the ceiling, blood everywhere, the normal stuff. One night early on, I had missed dinner, so I raided the candy bowl and grabbed a bunch of those fun-sized Snickers and hid them in the gut basket. Group comes in faster than I had expected, just in time to see me take the candy bar out of the basket and pop it in my mouth. A woman screams, "Oh my gosh, he's eating crap!" She swears she saw me squeeze a big old lump of crap out of one of those intestines, which can't be true. They were made out of expanding insulation foam and painted. They were all solid. After that, I started working that into my routine. Made more than one person vomit that year. 8. The scare in the final room of the haunt one year was a big stone-looking room with my friend in monk's robes who would stop the crowds and do a quick bit about how the master demands a sacrifice. One must stay so that the rest may leave. So the group would pick a sacrifice who would be left alone in the middle of the room as I, in a headless horseman costume, with a flaming jack-o'-lantern head, would burst through the giant hidden hinge doors that made the entire false wall crash open at them with my giant two-handed axe in order to claim their heads. Normal, everyday stuff. Except one group of all white guys and one black guy came through, and the group voted to put the one black guy up for sacrifice. My friend is just going, "Really? Really?" but shrugs and does his summoning of me. I'm wondering what I'm going to do, but acting quick, I barge out of the doors, then stop dead in my tracks. I make very exaggerated head movements, to be seen through the mask, of looking at the black guy, at the white people in back to the black guy. Then I just throw my hands up and yell, "Ah, heck nah," and storm back into my hole, closing the doors behind me. Black guy is laughing his butt off, going, "I told you so! Even the monster thought that was crap! I told you so!" 9th, and finally, stupidest "what the heck is wrong with you people" bit though, was the play sand. Had a section of the dark maze, a totally pitch black maze where you have to feel your way through. Ended up going onto the grass at one point, and there was basically a pothole in the ground. We were afraid people would trip in it in the dark and break an ankle, so we filled it with a bag of kitty sand from the hardware store. By pure happenstance, that spot was exactly where the majority of people would put their foot down while rounding the corner. We constantly heard, "Ew, what did I step in?" and "I just stepped in crap." All the work and planning we put into that haunt, and the biggest reaction we got was a frickin' pothole sand. Couldn't do that again if we tried. Oh, dang. Man, you've got stories. Frick, you should be posting this stuff every Halloween. Oh my gosh, I would love to chat more about this stuff, but those are pretty hilarious. This one's from user Instamatical. Cross-post from the last time I answered a similar question. I work at a haunt in Pennsylvania that is part of a multi-attraction location. There's a haunted house, hayride, and corn maze. I work the house, and we are generally the crowd favorite. Last year, my job was to sit in a shed where the exterior had been modified to look like a small mausoleum in the graveyard portion of the haunt. Thanks to a relatively simple system, I knew the names of at least 3 people in each group that would come through. Into a mic connected to wraparound speakers, the sound followed the guests, I'd sing, "Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies," and then pick a name and ask, "Why won't you play with me?" name. And people would lose their minds. Part of the lore for the house was that a young girl had died on the grounds and she was buried in the graveyard. Well, one night mid-season, I did this to a poor, unsuspecting soul named Tiffany. "Why won't you play with me, Tiffany?" And Tiffany's reaction was to scream at the top of her lungs, "Y'all mother effers need Jesus!" Without question, my best story of the entire season. Oh my gosh, oh, I don't think I could keep a straight face if I don't think I could keep a straight face there. That's funny. All right, and this last one is from user Ritus Jocundity. My costume was vaguely like the girl from The Ring, a year or two after that movie came out. Pink little girl's dress, long black wig over my face. I was pretty tiny back then and quite flexible, so I could contort myself in pretty creepy ways. Add a strobe light, and you've got some terrifying movements. Without fail, it was always the huge football players in leather jackets who would absolutely lose their mind in my room. Screaming, trying to climb the walls to get away, breaking and running, the whole works. Usually, their girlfriends would be standing by calmly. One guy's reaction was especially delicious. Once he saw me in the corner, contorted but slowly uncurling to drag myself across the floor, he screamed, "Oh, heck no!" and ran through the nearest wall. Just took it right out. Made of plywood, plaster, and some drywall, so it wasn't hard. Someone else ended up having to take him to first aid because even once I was out of character, he still couldn't stand to be near me. I won an award that year for Best Scarer. Well, you certainly earned it. That was r/AskReddit, and if you're looking for more funny or uplifting AskReddit content, then feel free to check out the playlist link in the description below. Now you guys go out there, have a great day, I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.